if I hear you correctly, Madam Secretary, you are now coming out finally in favor of lifting the cap on taxable income and extending and expanding Social Security. If that is the case, welcome on board. I'm glad you're here.
We're back with this special edition of Hardball. Tonight, I'm joined right now by Francesca Chambers, who's up in Brooklyn, where the debate was held tonight. Ken Vogel, chief investigative reporter at Politico, and Jay Newton-Small, who's correspondent with Time Magazine. Let me go to Francesca up there. What didn't we see on television, Francesca? What was only visible and knowable by someone there?
Well, I think that one thing that we all observed, Chris, was that tonight's attacks between the candidates were sharper than in some of the past debates. We saw a different side of Bernie Sanders show up here tonight, really willing to engage in attacks with Secretary Clinton and not willing to back down from a fight.
Well, what do you think he was up to? Because he was really pushing what I was called sort of the wounds on the face of Hillary Clinton. He kept punching the Iraq war. He said that 2 or 3 times. He went after on to taking the money for speaking fees from Goldman Sachs. He kept hitting that wound. He seemed to really want to bring her down by hitting the really vulnerable points and like hurting her. You know what I mean? Politically, he was out to win this fight. He wasn't here just protesting Democratic centrism. He was trying to knock her down, knock her out.
Well, it's clear, Chris, that the Sanders campaign understands at this point that they have to do something dramatic to be able to win, not just in New York on Tuesday, but to win this election. And the kind of fight that they were fighting before is just not going to cut it at this point. He has to differentiate himself from Secretary Clinton on the issues that you just stated, and the way that he'd been approaching it in past debates, frankly, wasn't working.
Thank you so much for joining us from up there, Francesca. Let's go to Ken Vogel. And Ken, you first, then Jay. The differential between previous fights and tonight, clearly he was trying to hit the sore points again and again, like in a boxing match. I used the reference because it really felt, watching it, I tweeted that. This feels like a boxing match. Back, 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 back. Punch, punch, punch.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of it is stuff that they have litigated in the past. They're clearly going after these. It's sort of like a choreographed fight, and it's the same jabs that we're seeing over and over again. Well, you could see that really stuck out to me was just how much on each other's last nerve they are. When Bernie Sanders would start to go into one of his sort of canned attacks on Hillary, she would laugh at him. She had this sort of bitter laugh, and then he laughed at her when she started to raise the point about guns and saying that there's and she really went after him. But it just goes to show you that this is a long campaign. We're winding to the end. Everyone else kind of sees how it's playing out, that Bernie Sanders is not going to win. And this was sort of his last chance, I think, to really make a statement before a big primary. And I don't know that he really did, frankly.
You know what he kept doing? Like his favorite punch was, and she is saying, oh, you called them out on Wall Street. Oh, that must have really hurt them. Well, was that before or after you took their money? I mean, that the money that she's been bought, that she's working for them, she's on the take, it isn't just the ideological difference. He said she's made bad decisions in her personal life, basically, taking money.
And he still is, is portraying himself as the dreamer, the big visionary, the big picture guy who can sort of, and when asked, like, why haven't you, raised money for the Democratic Party, he was like, well, I'll raise money for them as the same way I raise money, which is by getting millions and millions of people brought into the system, right?
Yeah.
And she consistently...
In other words, I'm not going to do it.
And she consistently is like the wife who's like, no, Bernie, we can't afford this jet ski. We need to pay for college. We need to, get this done. And she's always the pragmatist. She's always the devil's in the details. And you can't do this. It's not going to work.
Is that how it works? The wife is the reasonable one?
Always.
I didn't think that was
But Chris, I think that the attacks over being bought and sold, it's like a broken record. We've heard it so many times. But how do you make up for
this when you go shake hands out in Philadelphia? Oh, yeah, by the way, all during the campaign, I accused her of selling herself. I was selling herself to her soul to the devil, blah, blah, blah. Jeff Weaver saying the thing over and over again. He won't pull back. And it's, oh, by the way, she's my best bet for president now.
Right,
or will she say, at least she's better than Donald Trump?
And that's why he looked so uncomfortable when she was saying, I've done this before. I stood there with Barack Obama when I lost to him in 2008, and we unified the party. And she's saying, Bernie, we need to unify the party.
Obama never called her. Obama never said she was on the take.
It's also an attack that could really hurt her running against Donald Trump, whose whole candidacy is about the fact that politicians are on the take, and he's not. It really plays into his hands.
Save the tapes. Anyway, Ken and Jay will be with me for the final thoughts on tonight's debate and this presidential race, which continues. Apparently, this may not be the last debate, although it looked like it tonight. We'll be right back after this.
If we approach this era as if we were literally at a war. You know, in 1941, under Franklin Delano Roosevelt, we moved within 3 years to rebuild our economy to defeat Nazism and Japanese imperialism. That is exactly the kind of approach we need right now.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so if you want to see the full debate from tonight, it is available on Alternate Mox News YouTube page. There is a clickable link in the text body of this video right below the video down there on the YouTube video page. It's a little box and it says Alternate Mox News YouTube page. Click here. Click there. It'll take you right over to this Alternate Mox News YouTube page, which has a few presidential debates on it. Tonight's debate was pretty good. These guys, these Bernie Sanders haters, I mean, I don't know. This is like some of just the most blatant biased journalism I've ever seen. You know, Hillary can do no wrong, and Bernie Sanders is basically a clown. That's what these people said on this video. So nice to have journalists like this. How can they even like look themselves in the mirror? I mean, I don't really get how anybody that supports Hillary can look themselves in the mirror. And it's not that Bernie's a whole lot better, but he's better than Hillary. You know, it's like they always say, oh, Hillary would do a better job than Donald Trump. Well, Bernie would do a better job than Hillary. I guess that's what we're stuck with, you know. You can, this is, you know, turd sandwich or giant douche. You make the call. All right, so thanks for tuning in again. My name is Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. If you want to see tonight's debate, Alternate Mox News YouTube page, clickable link right below this video on the YouTube video page. Clickable link in the text body of the video. Go there, subscribe to that page. That's where I'm posting videos that are over 15 minutes, because this page has copyright violation issues. So that page is where the videos over 15 minutes go mostly, unless they go to the C-SPAN junkie page, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for your continued support. One of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool until that day.